Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stop 3 in the chase for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship. We kicked it off 2 weeks ago at Chicagoland Speedway. It was a very eventful race that had a long 70-lap green flag run and then a caution in the final 15 laps. It came down to fuel strategy with less than 5 to go when the lead was given back to Landon Huffman. And Landon went on to win race number 1 in the chase, redeeming himself after wrecking and Hicker at Richmond in the final race to the chase. Then last weekend, we were at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire. And when it was all said and done, Landon Huffman won an open race again in what turned out to be not only a race for the chase, but a demolition derby. Huffman held when it was all said and done. Live from Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware, this is race number 3 in the quest for the Marlboro Racing seat in the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. Hello, everybody. I'm Wesley Outland. Alongside is Michael Keaton. Joining us on pit road later on is Matt Close and Joshua Harmonson. And our executive producer filling in for J.D. Webb is Dakota Ehrman. We're getting ready for an exciting race in Michael Keaton, Dover, Delaware. Anything can ever happen and can always happen. And at any moment at the track nicknamed the Monster Mile.
Yeah, Wes, they don't call it the Monster Mile for nothing. I'm telling you, this track is all about muscle bound, and these guys are going to be hard at it tonight, fighting for a championship, fighting for that racing cockpit seat. I tell you, and Landon Huffman's, he's looking mighty good.
Absolutely, definitely correct on that, and of course it's going to be an exciting event unlike none other. And let's put the closing chapter on what happened at New Hampshire. Last weekend, last Monday night, Michael Keaton was a wreck fest. It was a demolition derby to any aspect of the word. According to John Wessling, our producer, probably the worst race with the amount of caution flags that we ever had broadcasted on ET Live in the RSR Full Throttle Cup. Dover is a 1-mile track. It's similar to New Hampshire, but it also has a lot of differences. Let's talk about that at the Monster Mile.
It really does. The banking, for one thing, this bank here is about 24 degrees in the turns, and man, that makes for some exciting racing and 2x2 passing. But last week, like you mentioned, a lot of wrecks, but the drivers are real good. They're very focused. It could have been a little bit of both from the track being real flat at New Hampshire, or it could have been the aggressive driving because, hey, they're fighting for this cockpit. They're fighting for the championship. This is it. That was race number. And so I don't know if we'll see a lot of that aggressiveness carry over from last week to tonight here at Dover. But I tell you, Dover Monster Mile is not called the Monster Mile for nothing. So hopefully, though, that they'll tend to these cautions tonight.
Absolutely, and we'll throw it into our all-star pit road of reporters and get their thoughts as we get ready to go green flag here on the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Joshua Harbinson, you've been a part of the chase since the whole deal began back 2 weeks ago at Chicagoland. What's your thoughts of the race at New Hampshire last week as now we get ready for Dover and chase race 3?
I gotta agree. It was a wreck fest. A lot of people, they just stacked up and that was it. They just kept wrecking, and a lot of them did drive a better race or not as good a race as they wanted to drive.
Definitely. And what is the talk of what's going on in the pits right now of the race here tonight at Dover? Is everybody comfortable with how things are going right now during practice, getting ready for qualifying, or are we kind of seeing the same kind of issues with like what happened at New Hampshire with cars wrecking?
It's close to New Hampshire, but they're getting it down. It's really easy to overdrive the turns here, and if they do that, they're going to wear out the right front. And this track is hard to pass on too. It's just hard to pass. There is no high line from what they're saying. And they also say one thing is also turn 2 is that blind turn. When they come in, they can't see anything in the backstretch. Have to rely on their spotter. And one thing here that wasn't at New Hampshire was they call it the Monster Mile. It's even the Monster Pit Road. On green flag stops, it's going to be interesting. Drivers are going to have to negotiate coming down off a 24-degree banking into a flat surface and get their car wove down to 35 miles an hour, the pit road speed. And there's another hazard. It is a one-lane pit road with no room to make a mistake. So when they come in tonight, it's going to be interesting.
Definitely correct on that. Great observation of what's going on pit road at the Munster Mile, because you're definitely correct. Michael Keaton, when those cars hit pit lane, they're going to all have to respect one another because it's tight confines around the Munster Mile, the concrete mile of Dover Speedway, and if you're not careful, you will bend some sheet metal coming out of the pits or going into the pits as well.
Absolutely. Just like Josh said, 35 miles an hour. That it seems like forever when you're in that car going down pit road here at Dover. It's just so long before you get to that first box of pit stops. And like I'd like to throw out is getting off the bank or getting off the turn 4, getting down into pit road. I mean, these guys are, the only groove, as Josh mentioned, is down low. So when you're having to pit in these green flag conditions, you got to be real careful about how far ahead you are of the guy that's behind you, because throwing the handout may not be enough here tonight at Dover.
Absolutely. We're going to bring in our another guest of All-Star Pit Talent, and joining Joshua Harbison on pit road is our newest addition of the pit crew, and he's our first time being a part of the chase. He's done some previous things for ETV Live Radio. Matt Close. Matt, what's your thoughts of the Munster Mile as we get ready for the exciting 160-lap battle here at Dover?
Well, Wesley, I think it's going to be a whole different game down here on pit road this time. Glad to be back here Monday nights with the RSR, Sim Online Racing, and everything. I was here for their first race at Dover in the beginning of the season, and man, I hope these guys got their restarts down. Cars were just everywhere slipping and sliding on the restarts. And I think Chad Cole and Landon Huffman throughout the seasons learned their valuable lesson not to get themselves back in the pack. So I expect them to be the ones more risky on taking the 2-tire stops. They're fast either way throughout this entire season. And I'm hoping just throughout the season, these 36 races I believe that they did this season, they ran the whole season, or most of it. I hope that they've learned something since their last visit here.
Absolutely, definitely correct on that. And Michael Keaton, while we are still in the middle of our ETV Live pre-race show here for race number 3 at the Chase at Dover, let's give them a rundown of currently how the point standings are shaken up as we get ready for this event today at Dover. Of course, 1 mile track, 4 degree. That's around 24 degrees of banking into the corners. Beautiful clear sky, 78 degrees, and a little north wind blowing at 2 miles an hour. It's not going to bother those tracks, except maybe at the west end of the track a little bit. Maybe we might see a little of aerodynamic push from these cars at the back of the spoilers. But other than that, we should be ready for a great night of racing. Let's give a rundown of the top 10. And first, the race results from New Hampshire last week. And Michael Keaton, we go to you.
All right, yeah. Last week, Landon Huffman bringing home the victory at New Hampshire, finishing second. Big-time competitor in the number 17 DeWalt Ford, Chad Cole, finishing second. I'm sorry, Dwayne Vincent finished second last week. I wanted to go over what you brought up, or what Matt brought up last time at Dover. Landon Huffman won. That was race 13 about 6 months ago, where Landon Huffman brought the victory home, and the next thing was Chad Cole. So that's what threw me off a little bit. But Dwayne Vincent coming home last week at New Hampshire, second spot. Wes.
I'm having some problems getting the stats to load up on my screen. Michael, go ahead and take it, buddy, please.
And then Adam Roberts finishing third last week. And Rich Jett, hey, he came from the back, buddy. 30th spot to fourth. Rich Jett finishing fourth that night. Joseph Hayes in the hunt for this chase, finished fifth. Ronnie Pott started that evening's event in the 11th spot, finishing sixth. And John Hanna Jr. putting up a nice lap, starting second outside of Huffman, finishing seventh. And J. Randall Watkins coming in eighth. And the Navy Nuke, Eric Arnold, coming in ninth. And rounding out the top 10 was Michael Gray, who started from a big back position, 24th, made it all the way into the top 10. So congrats for Michael Gray there.
Yeah, definitely, and still, I was just not getting the stats up that I needed. And of course, you know, if you tune in every Monday night to our broadcast, we do a radio show for And the Winner Is Motorsports show, and trying to get that uploaded and finished up, and I still can't get the page to open. What type of file did you send it to me? Yeah, go ahead and keep on going, Michael Keaton. I'll let you finish off with the points, buddy. The race results, I'm sorry. The race results, and then hopefully I'll have the points put up.
Steve Gottschalk, starting from that number 15th spot, picked up 11th last week at New Hampshire. And John Abbott, who's also in the battle for this chase by the skin of his teeth, finishing 12th last week. Doug Roth also in the mix. He's back in 12th in the points series, and he finished 13th. David Lanza, also one of those in the hunt for the chase, finishing 14th. And Chad Coleman, talking about coming in to a disappointing finish last week, 15th. Nathan Bowers, 16th. White Wolf Jr., coming in 17th last week. Chris Schallenberger, 18th. Stephen Herring in the 19th spot. Guy Snyder, who's also trying to work his way up through the points here as the final chase race comes to a close. He finished 20th last week. Keith Brooks Jr. coming in 21st too. I wanted to make mention about Keith Brooks Jr. Man, I tell you, he's had a really good start of the year, and midway through the year, Wes, Keith had a couple of missed races, missed opportunities, and he would have been competing for this chase if he had not missed some of those races. Real consistent guy. He finished 21st last week.
And, of course, you're exactly right on that. And now it's time to take a look at the top 12 overall as we go into race number 3 of the chase for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship. And, of course, everybody is fighting for that Bob Earl Racing seat. The points man out in front is Landon Huffman out of Hickory, North Carolina. Also a real racer in Hickory Motor Speedway. He ran in the Fall Brawl over the weekend. He is currently the points leader. Chad Cole is in second, 27 back. Joseph Hayes is third with 41. Guy Snyder, the fourth, really turned some heads last weekend in New Hampshire and then got involved in the big wreck on the backstretch in the late going. He's fourth in the standings, only 46 back. David Lanza, 1 point back to Snyder at 47. Actually a tie for fifth and sixth between Lanza and John Abbott with 47. Another tie with Eric Arnold, Jay Horton at 52. R.J. Williams rounds out the ninth position. Chad Schilling the top 10. And to round out the RSR Dirty Dozen, Adam Roberts is 70 back and Doug Roth is 80. I think it's safe enough to say, looking at scenario points now, guys, and we're going to look at we'll talk to Matt Close and Joshua Harbison, Michael, as well on the point scenario. I think if you're not fourth or back, if you're fifth on, well, I take that back. If you're at least in the half dozen, the top six, you're okay.
Yeah, it's so close right now, and I was talking to John Abbott before the race, before they got the practice up and going, and he was saying that, you know, it's still early, and but you're starting to see a little bit of point separation here, and you mentioned Chad Cole being 27 points behind Landon Huffman, and you know, statistically speaking, Landon Huffman won it last time here at Dover and led pretty much every single lap. So Landon really knows how to get around this monster mile, and so that's my take on it. I think, like you said, if you're eighth and up, where Jay Horton's sitting at 52 points behind, you still got some sort of chance. It may be slim, and it's getting slimmer, but there's still some sort of chance to get back into this hunt.
And how about our all-star pit crew? Joshua Harbison, what's your thoughts of that? If you're at least a half dozen, you're okay. If you're in the back, you better hope for a miracle, or do you think anybody's still got a shot here in race 3 with 7 to go?
I don't know. 7 to go. If the guys in the bottom run well enough, they'll be all right. But just it's half and half. Right now, the top 6 look close enough. The bottom 6, they're probably not going to make it. But anything can happen. This is NASCAR.
Matt Close, what's your thoughts?
I'm thinking it's going to come down to tonight for the people that aren't in the top 5. I mean, David Lanza, great driver. I think he's still got a shot at 47 back. Abbott, from what I've seen and what I've heard about him, he's still having that bad luck in his car every week. So, I'd love to see him win a couple times here in the chase, but I don't think he's got much. But for a lot of these other guys like R.J. Williams and Adam Roberts, consistent cars most of the time, and I think after tonight we'll really know what's going on in the points for them.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick commercial break as we get closer and closer to the countdown mode in race number 3 of the chase for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. They are currently right now still qualifying. When we come back, we'll hopefully have qualifying results in the books. The starting lineup, the green flag of a wild 160-lap affair. And if you look at some of the video, there's a little cloud cover settling in over the Munster Mile. But the Munster is set to be unleashed here tonight at Dover in race 3 of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. Put the women and children to bed. We're going to war right after this. From Dover International Speedway, you're tuned in to the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series on the ETV Live online Auto Sports Entertainment Network.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, opening ceremonies are now officially in the books. I apologize. I was talking about us going to going to commercial break and then coming back for opening ceremonies. And boy, these guys are on their A game tonight. They're already, I'll tell you what, Michael Keaton, they're already ahead of me.
They don't play here.
No, sir, they do not. Not one bit. And without further ado, we'll give you the command, I believe, has now been given. And the engines are fired up, and we'll give you your starting lineup for race number 3 in the chase here tonight at Dover International Speedway. John Hanna was quickest in qualifying at 22.905 seconds around the Munster Mile. He'll be on the front row inside, and Chad Cullen, the DeWalt Chevrolet, will start on the outside in second.
Points leader Landon Huffman rolling off tonight's event. Second row, third spot, R.J. Williams on the outside in that number 21 Chevrolet.
Row number 3 to the inside, Steve Gottschalk of the number 91 entry to his outside. He's currently in the top 10. In the points, number 10, John Abbott. And he'll start sixth.
Your second place finisher last week at New Hampshire, Dwayne Vincent. He's got a rocket. Watch out. Starting on the outside of him, the 45 machine of Kel Dresbeck.
Moving on as now the field begins to roll off pit row. Onto the racetrack, onto the high banks of the Dover International Speedway. Continue the rundown. It's going to be Kel Dresbeck. Steve Ritter in the 16 will start 9th. Ronnie Parks will start 10th.
11th is Glenn Campbell. Outside him, Guy Snyder.
Continue with the rundown, getting clear quicker because they'll come to green this time by Glenn Campbell, Guy Snyder the 4th, row number 6. Row 7 will be Jay Horton and Scott Brotherton.
15th, Doug Roth. Michael Gray, 16th.
Row continuing on, it's going to be Chad Schilling, Adam Roberts, John Millane, Wyatt Wolf, the top 20, Douglas White, R.C. Rigdon, Keith Brooks Jr. Randall Watkins and Rich Jett, the top 25. Rest of the rundown real quick as we come to green.
Wyatt Wolf Jr., Nathan Bowers, Joseph Hayes, Patrick Ahi, Eric Arnold, C.J. LeVere, Stephen Herring, and David Lanza.
The pace car drops onto pit road. Great pages of race history are about to be written one more time in the 2012 edition of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Chase. We're green here at Dover, and on the jump, it's already the man out in front, the number 6, John Hanna Jr. He's already under attack. Jack Cole to the lead out of turn 2.
Chad Cole in the lead off of 2, getting a good spot going out into 3. John Hanna slips to 2nd, but hey, not so fast. He looked underneath, but no good. Coming out of 4, the DeWalt machine leads your first lap.
And look out behind the machine of Cole, Landon Huffman, the points leader, the man that's won 2 in a row. He fouled last weekend in the post-race show. Michael Keaton, he's going to make it 3 in a row. He's going to win Dover like Denny Hamlin vowed that he'd win at New Hampshire. He leads off turn number 3.
Giving way from 1st all the way back to 4th. John Hanna Jr. in a little bit of trouble. Gave way to R.J. Williams as he takes 3rd down the front stretch. Just behind them, the 91 machine of Steve Gottschalk in 5th.
They got a problem. Eric Arnold's hit the wall on the back straightaway. Doesn't look like he's got that much of damage, but looks like we'll keep it under the green flag. We'll get an update on Eric Arnold. What do we call him? The torpedo man after the awesome wreck that we saw him do at New Hampshire last weekend. The Nuke Warrior now sits dropping back. We'll go to pit road here in a moment. But meanwhile, Hanna, Cole, Huffman, Williams, Gottschalk, the top 5. Everybody single file in the early going to the Munster Mile in turn 3.
In turn 3, looking back at 6th position, belonging to the Dwayne Vincent. I mentioned his name before the race started. He's got a rocket. He's got a rocket here tonight. He's working Gottschalk for 5th, coming down to you in 1, Wes.
And they come back into turn number 1 and 2. Back to the line of the back straightaway. And still John Hanna holding on to that point. Chad Cole now trying to run down your leader. Landon Huffman falls back to 3rd. Williams in the ART ETV Live Race Machine 21 sits in 4th. They're single file, and we're now less than 6 laps in here at Munster Mile in turn 1.
A lot of racing going on back here mid-pack. West looking back in the 10th position, belonging to Kel Dresbach. Him and Ronnie Potts was going at it just for a little bit. And Matt, we're going to throw it down to you on pit road.
I got an update with that number 43, Doug Roth, that you guys mentioned, got in the into the outside wall, coming off at 2 a little bit earlier. Hard toe to the left. He's wheeling that wheel all the way to the right just to get this thing to go straight down the straightaways. And he's way off the pace. We're going to see him probably fall a few laps down here and maybe come down and fix that damage eventually.
Yeah, that battle still continues on. Meanwhile, Landon Huffman, he'll look for the lead in turn 1.
That's right, Landon Huffman going for the lead. No stranger to the front here, Wes. Have it up. Go.
Down the back straightaway, they go into turn number 3. Chad Cole, it was battle for the 2nd spot, Chad Cole under attack for 2nd. John Hanna, the man that's out in front. Man, I blew that call. He is definitely sailed away from the field. Could John Hanna pull the upset of the Newegg Motorsports Chevrolet Impala? He leads down the backstretch, and he's already passing back marker cars, going a lap down. And a surprise, Dwayne Vincent, the Silver Bullet 13. He's one of those cars.
So continuing to lead the race, Chad Cole in the 17 Ford car, putting the work to Landon Huffman right now. Wes, you got to wonder if that DeWalt machine showed up to race tonight. 27 points behind the leader, Huffman. Cole's looking for that 5th win of the season, and he's looking mighty strong out front here at the Monster Mile.
Yeah, now Dwayne Vincent trying... John Hanna still leads the way. Chad Cole is 2nd. Landon Huffman is 3rd. Do we got 2 13s in the field tonight, I believe? Because Dwayne Vincent, is there 2 13s in this race tonight?
No, there's only one. Dwayne Vincent, number 13, in that silver bullet and orange machine, sitting fourth on the track. Behind him, John Hanna Jr., your pole sitter. We mentioned him. He had a little bit of difficulty on that restart. I'm telling you, Landon Huffman and Chad Cole is really trying to hammer it.
They go down into turn. Now, I apologize. I was looking at qualifying speed times. Hey, it happens. We make mistakes. Cole, Huffman, Williams, Vincent, Hanna, your top 5. Gottschalk, Abbott, Ritter, Snyder, and Dressback rounded out the top 10. We are single file at Dover. Now let's take a quick break. We still got a long way to go. 13 laps into this one. We'll find out how strategy's going on pit road in the first part of this event. Don't go anywhere from Dover International Speedway. You're tuned in to the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Race to the Chase for the championship and the Bob Earl race seat on the ETV Live online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. We'll be right back. I was looking. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to race number 3 in the chase for the championship. I'm Wesley Outland of the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Hey, by the way, are you mobile? Get the app on TuneIn Radio, iTunes Radio, Windows Media Guide, and, of course, HD Radio Network. Phil Foltz, John Wessling, and JD Webb can give you all the information you need on that. If you need something for help, go online to etvlive-eplay.net. Send them a message. They'll help you out in any way they can, but it's quite simple. If you are into the cell phone world like I am and download your apps, go to either TuneIn, iTunes, or whichever, and then go to Windows Media Guide. I just said that. Download ETV Live Radio. Bing, bang, boom, you're there. And, of course, tune in to some great program like every Monday night. Yours truly, Mike Neff and Justin Rhodes, now also with ETV and the Winter is Motorsports Show. Also, it's from 6 to 8 every Monday night. On Tuesday night, the Open Paddock, everything with open wheel racing with the Mazda Road Indy IZOD Indy Series, the Infinity Lights Indy Series, much more with Sean Peachin and company every Tuesday at 9:30. And don't forget about a recap of everything that happened throughout the week with the Friday Night Showdown. And that, of course, leads us up also to the Friday night race with the nationwide type cars. It's etvlive-eplay.net for more information. Michael Keaton, we're early in the running list event here at Dover. Chad Cole is in his own world. Landon Huffman's closing in by 0.02 of a second. He's trying to reel him in turn 3 on lap 23.
Already putting some guys a lap down. One guy to mention, Doug Roth, the number 43 machine, was just put a lap down. He's 12th in your point standings for the chase here, Wes. And you got to think that it's starting to slip away from his grasp. 80 points behind. And, man, I'm telling you, one lap down already, running 30th here at Dover. Not very good for that machine.
Definitely correct on that. They'll put another lap machine down on the 61 car going up to the top of the racetrack. And Chad Cole in his on world. Don't count out R.J. Williams in our ETV Live entry car. And let's go to pit road and get some thoughts on what's going on in the first 25 laps of this race. Long way to go, short time to get there, like the words from the great song Jerry Reed's Smokey and the Bandit. But I'll tell you what, Joshua Harbison, what are they seeing on pit road for the first 25 laps of this race? And no caution yet either.
Yeah, the drivers are getting settled into the line. They're getting in their rhythm. There's going to be quite a few adjustments coming down pit road, but right now everybody is okay enough in their car not to have to come in right now.
And, of course, Matt Close, what's your thoughts? What are they talking about on the midsection of pit road?
Well, I've been trying to listen into these guys' radios. I'm hopping in and out of these stations, and so far it's dead air on the radio from your leaders. Nothing going on. They must be satisfied with their cars, but I'm thinking they're going to come down and probably throw their 4 tires on it when they do get a pit stop. And probably we'll see a few wrenches in the windows, because this track, man, it's always changing. Hot, cold, rubber down, and peeling up.
Absolutely correct on that. You definitely hit that nail on the head correctly. Dead air is a bad word, Michael Keaton, in radio and TV talk. We don't want that to happen while we're calling the races, but when they're not talking on the radios about the races in the scanners to the crew chiefs and their spotters, everybody's happy with the way everything's going. With one car getting to the wall in front of your leader. Oh, that about caused a big one. Wyatt Wolf in a 66 car also giving us a scare. Michael Gray, he'll keep it straight, but man, if you look on that ETV replay, he hit the wall just as Chad Cole, the leader, was about to put him a lap down.
Yeah, that's something these leaders got to watch out for. Like Michael Gray, a little bit of damage. He's 4 laps down, just got put 4th laps down. And, man, being a leader here, you got to be real, just be patient. You see the guy in front of you, the lap car down, knows that you're there. Give him a little time to get up, move up the track. Don't rush it, because sometimes you can force yourself into a situation that you really don't want to get involved in. So as we see Chad Cole working the 3 machine, J. Randall Watkins Jr., there you go, showing patience. Junior stays up high, Watkins stays up high, Chad Cole making the pass.
Absolutely no doubt about that. As they go back into the corner, Cole, Huffman, Williams, Vincent, there are your top 5. Don't count out Hannah as well there at the bottom. And trying to pick up some other battles going on around the racetrack. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Ronnie Potts, the Deuce, under attack. He's trying to run down Keldrad's back. That's for 9th and 10th. That's heated up. But don't count out Rhinestone Cowboy, Glenn Campbell. He's behind that furious battle exiting turn 4.
And just ahead of them, Steve Ritter putting that number 12 machine a lap down. So big-time group racing right there between 11th all the way up into 8th, where Steve Ritter maintains that position.
Absolutely. We now work lap number 32 of completion. Lap 33 will go on the board, this time by Cole and Huffman. All continue to lead in the top 3 with Williams. And I'm telling you what, Chad Cole's got his A-game on here tonight. Meanwhile, battle for the top 10 for 9th and 10th. Dress pack under attack by Ronnie Potts. Don't count out Glenn Campbell, the Penske Chevrolet, trying to close in on the Black Deuce as they go to turn 1.
Let's keep an eye on this just a second. Ronnie Potts running a little bit faster lap times than that Dresbach 45 machine. Also, keep in mind, Steve Ritter that's just ahead. They're closing in every single lap. So we might see a little bit of a move here by Kel Dresbach to move that machine up into the 8th spot. But I tell you, the number 2 machine wanting that 8th spot as well. That's Potts coming into 1. Potts all over the back of Dresbach, coming out of 2, looking underneath, no, stays behind, into 3, and I tell you, Wes is starting to shake up here a little bit. These guys, Josh mentioned, getting into a rhythm, but also, too, they're seeing who saved their tires and who's adjusting better. You can kind of tell here.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Something else was shaking in here as well as we continue to run down. Now let's pick up another battle for the top 20. Position 19 and 20, that is. Rich Jett, the white number 32, trying to peek to the inside. Well, he's under attack from the white 82 of John Milwane. Milwane pulls to the inside of the machine of Rich Jett. Jett says, no way, Jose. They'll close in. They'll go to the inside, back in turn number 3.
Yeah, Rich Jett, real solid machine, pretty good all year long. Did not qualify. He was the first car not to qualify tonight. Started 25th. He's actually lost a couple positions. He's back to 20th. Excuse me, I'm sorry. He's gained a couple of positions up to 20th from 25th. I'm in that same thing you're in. I'm looking at the qualifying stats, going back to the race, and it's very confusing.
We're trying to recap back and forth. Sometimes we forget what page we're looking on. But hey, definitely. By the way, as we continue the race action, we're on lap number 38, lap 39 of completion this time by. I want to remind you every Friday night it's the Friday Night Showdown. It airs at 7 o'clock. Get a recap of everything that's gone on throughout the week, and the winner is the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Chase Race of Dover. Final thoughts from drivers, and of course, everybody. You can tune into that and keep a recap as we get you also ready for the Friday Night Showdown with those nationwide type cars as well. So tune him in, and that's Bob Earl Trucking presenting that program. Bob Earl Race Seats presents the RSR Full Throttles. Kenneth Mercer Trucking presents the program every Friday with ETV Live Radio. And, of course, go online to etv.vplay.net, Tuned In Radio, iTunes Radio, Windows Media Guide, HD Radio Network, web promo. Leader, Chad Cole, under lap traffic in turn number 3.
Yeah, Chad Cole also working a little bit of traffic here. Now he's coming up on your Navy nuke, Eric Arnold, who runs 19th. Eric won his first race a couple of weeks ago under caution. He's sitting 7th in points, 52 behind. This is not where you need to be, Eric. You got to get going, man. He's going a lap down here. Too bad. But guess what? Huffman to the lead in 3, possibly, West.
Huffman trying to the outside. He'll try to play wingman. Hot dog between the bun is the Navy nuke of Eric Arnold. He'll play, well, the meat gets away from the buns as they go down into turn 1. Now the 2 pieces of bread will try to run down the Navy nuke and try to put it in the microwave. Take that spot. That's a lap machine. Meanwhile, Cole, Huffman, to the bottom. They're 3 wide at most for the lead in turn 3 at Dover.
That's exactly where Huffman needs to be, on that bottom line, although he's got the Eric Arnold nuke right in front of him, but Chad Cole hanging to the outside. Hey, who said there's not 2 racing grooves here at Dover?
And things are starting to heat up here at the Munster Mile. Dover International Speedway in Delaware. Wesley Outley and Michael Keaton in the booth. On pit road, Joshua Harbison and Matt Close, produced by John Wesley, and of course, Dakota Ehrman, executive producer, filling in for our own J.D. Webb, who is recovering from heart surgery. Our thoughts and prayers are with him. He had surgery earlier this week, and earlier last week. Through the weekend, he's recovering, and we hope everything comes back with a speedy recovery. He's resting, taking advantage. We got this, as I tell him, and now Landon Huffman's got it. He leads it over in turn 3.
Also, while that battling was shaking up, the number 21 machine, part of Huffman Racing, R.J. Williams, snuck onto the back door of the 17 machine, gave him a little bit of nudge and said, hey, Cole, guess what, buddy? You got another Huffman guy to race with. So he's in 3rd, and he's knocking on the door of 2nd. Matt Close?
Yeah, let's go to pit road to Matt Close.
Yeah, Keaton, down here talking to the Huffman boys. They both said on that first stint of the run, they predicted that this time, with the experience these guys got, they're going to be on this long run. Both of them are saying that they saved that right front tire. Third teammate of theirs, Adam Roberts, in that 88 back there, almost a lap down now. They'll be pulling up to him any lap now. He said he chewed up that right front early on. And Landon Huffman, R.J. Williams coaching him along the way, and they know that they've got Chad Cole in their hands right now and that he's torn up all his tires. They're just expecting to take the rest of this run easy and gain as much time as they can.
My, is it just me? Or does it seem like within the last 5 laps, the racing has really intensified here at Munster Mile, with still out in front is Landon Huffman. He vowed on the race show at New Hampshire last week, I'm going to call my shots. I'm going to win the Munster Mile. He's backing it up. He's winning. He's leading it now with lap number 48, about to close in on the first 50, and we're less than 12 to halfway in what's been a quick sprint at Dover.
Yeah, and me and Josh was talking about 15 minutes before the race started about green flag conditions. And I'm telling you, Josh, you might get your wish, although we're about halfway to when we start seeing green flags, Josh. And I tell you, what is it looking like? Are these guys looking at 4 tires, 2 tires, full gas? What's the deal playing out under pit road?
Most of them will come down for 4 tires and a full tank of gas. They won't be able, they might not be able to go off this one pit stop. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's probably gonna be a 4-tire stop. I doubt you'll see any 2-tire stops.
Hey, and Wes, I tell you also too, man, you got to watch the trickery coming off 4 down the pit road. That's where it's going to be interesting. That might be where we see our first caution too. Coming off 4 is not an easy task, especially on old tires, Wes.
Yeah, definitely correct on that. Of course, if you're watching the ETV side by side, you can see Scott Brotherton. He comes on pit road. He's one of those back marker cars. Also another car a couple of laps down, and several others are now just starting to cycle through and make those pit stops. But I'm wondering when the leader is going to come in.
Well, Wes, you know, from what I've heard, it's about 80 to 85 laps on a full run here. So it just depends on how much wear you put on that right front. A lot of these guys that you see going a lap down, they put so much wear on that right front that, hey, in iRacing, just a couple of months ago, they released a patch where you could actually blow a tire. So a lot of guys real cautious here at Dover to not blow that tire and cause that first caution.
I understand that a couple of cars might have got together, 44 and 62. Glenn Campbell and the 62 car, he's kind of drifted back. One car coming to pit road. Looks like that's going to be the number 4 of C.J. LeVere. More cars making pit stops, and meanwhile, while that goes on, the race is on out in front. What race? Landon Huffman doing another great show. He leads in turn 3 at Dover.
Looking back here in the 5th spot, wow, oh man, a heated battle with a 32. He's a lap down. Eric Arnold lap down. Joseph Hayes also a lap down. Man, I tell you, Guy Snyder's got to be shaking his boots because the number 47 machine got involved almost in a wreck with 69 ahead of him. But Guy Snyder's starting to work through him okay now. Just a little bit of scare for the 27 machine.
Remember, Guy Snyder last week had definitely had a great run for him, was going to salvage at least a top 5 finish, and then got airborne in a big wreck on the last closing laps. And then who could forget the Navy nuke of Eric Arnold? His car got big-time airborne. It shot up in the air like a missile at the start-finish line, and a crazy way to end a caution-filled. It's been clean and green for about 55 laps now, 5 to halfway.
Down pit road, Steve Gottschalk, not a lap down just yet, but now he is, now that the leader has passed by. Josh, he's coming to you on pit road, the slow 35 miles an hour, the 91 machine running 21st. He's coming down the pit road.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's one of those that ate up the right front, so they're gonna come in a little early, get some 4-tire stop and some fuel. And hope, I don't think he didn't say anything about adjustments, so it's probably just a good 4-tire stop.
Wes, you got to think, man. I'm telling you, 5 laps into this race, 80 to 85 laps on a full run. These guys coming down so early.
And no caution flags yet. None whatsoever. 3 to halfway. Landon Huffman's out in front. Chad Cole second. R.J. Williams is in third. And to top it off, the only guys that can keep up with one another is Cole and Huffman. And your driver's in position 2 and 1. He's got R.J. Williams, our ETV live driver, has got 4 or 5 cars, lap machines in front of them. They're seriously under attack. But I got to give credit to these lap cars. They're respecting the move over flag on the flag stand. Let me explain to you real quickly what the blue flag with the yellow stripe means, because so many people take it out of context. They think that flag means get out of the way, move. Not the case. The flag means you have faster traffic overtaking you. Hold your line. Don't make any stupid moves to cause a wreck. And these guys are doing just that, letting these leaders get by them.
That's a really good point.
Leading by 1.
I was just about to say, Cole, meanwhile, back at the ranch, looking underneath of the 75 machine, couldn't quite make it stick, though, Wes, coming off 2.
Couldn't make it stick. We're halfway home. Let's give you your full field rundown where they stand right now on lap number 60 as Michael Grayabout got in the wall in front of the leaders. Landon Huffman leads. Chad Cole is second. R.J. Williams is third. Dwayne Vincent is fourth. Guy Snyder is fifth. Don Abbott, John Hanna Jr., Ronnie Potts, Steve Ritter, and R.C. Rigner are the top 10.
And just to mention the other two in 11th and 12th that are still on the lead lap, Glenn Campbell, Kel Dresbach, and now your one-lap cars, Adam Robert, he's pitted, Chad Schilling, Wyatt Wolf Jr. sits 15th, Joseph Hayes sitting 3rd in the points here, guys. He's one lap down, sitting 16th in that 69 Chevrolet. Rich Jett, 17th, John Milwin, 18th, 19th belongs to the Eric Navy Nuke Arnold. Man, I just got to call him Eric Arnold, man, sitting 19th, also part of this chase. Got to get that car up to speed. Nathan Bowers rounding out the top 20.
And, of course, rounding out full field rundown from 21st to 31st is, of course, Stephen Herring in the 98. Randall Rockets is 22nd. Steve Gottschalk is 23rd. C.J. Lavere is 24th. Doug Roth is 25th in those famous Richard Petty STP colors. Jay Horton is 26th. Keith Brooks, Scott Brotherton, Wyatt Wolf, Douglas White, and Michael Gray is your full field rundown. We have completed 63 laps. No caution flag, and no leaders have came on the pit road yet. We're going to have another special edition of the program. Dalton England is now grabbing one of the drivers throughout the field. He's our in-race reporter. Dalton in the first part of the race. Dalton, what have you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, guys, we're going to be pulling in Guy Snyder. He ran top 10 pretty much the whole race so far. Hasn't pitted yet, but we're going to go give him the key, and he's going to jump up here in the booth, and we'll see if we can get a word with him.
Absolutely. So let us know whenever you got Guy Snyder on pit road with you. Of course, he can't come up in the booth with the cars running around the racetrack, so we'll get him out of the get him on the in-car radio and find out how things are going for the moment. As of course, this battle continues on. Landon Huffman, Chad Cole, cat and mouse. Can we call it that between these two guys? Cat and mouse in the points. Cat and mouse on the track. It heats up just past halfway at Dover in turn 3.
These guys really putting on a show. I like that cat and mouse play here at Dover. And I'm telling you, they're doing a great job working through traffic. Man, have they not worked through traffic? They just put Kel Dresbach a lap down. And just to give the fans some sort of idea of what they've done, they put more than half of the field a lap down. Kel is 12th position, and they are right on the back door of Glenn Campbell, who sits 11th. And, man, what a show and clinic Huffman and Cole putting on.
Absolutely, and some cars going to pit road. Joshua Harbinson, did anybody make any stops?
The 98, he came in for a stop. He got 4 tires fuel. He's on the way out. And the 66 came in for 4 tires and fuel, and I think he suffered a little bit of a penalty. He had a tire run away from him out of the pit box.
So to make it easy, 98 of Steve Herron just had his break today. Will it be the only break he needs to take him to lap number 120 here in race number 3 of the chase at Dover? Landon Huffman, when is he coming in? He still leads the way. We're lap number 70 this time by here at Dover International Speedway. We just passed halfway. We'll go to quick break. Side-by-side view for you, or side-by-live is what we call it for ETV. From Dover International Speedway, this is the ETV Live Auto Sports Entertainment Network, as we are just getting closer to the halfway mark on lap number 80. 10 to halfway. Man, I jumped the gun again. I thought I said 120. 160 laps. This is a long race. This is a long race. I think the reason why is the last 2 weeks there have been 120 lappers, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, too, Wes. You just mentioned no caution. And last week, guys, this is what's amazing. We come from New Hampshire, and it's a very, very tough track. We had record-breaking cautions, 10 to 15, a wreck fest, just a total wreck fest. Landon Huffman bringing home the victory, keep in mind. But here at Dover, man, as you see, Chad Cole knocked back of Huffman as we speak. No caution, and this is not an easy track as well. This is the Monster Mile. This is the Dover Stripe. This is it. This is the bad boy track. No cautions. RSR Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, yet again, putting in another great show for us, Wes.
Absolutely, and I do apologize. Had everybody's hopes up. I thought we went to halfway at lap number 60. Not the case. We got a halfway at lap 80 in this 160-lap feature here at Dover International Speedway. But we'll take a quick break. We'll get closer to pit stops, I believe, unless somebody decides to throw a wrench on the racetrack or caution comes out for debris. From Dover International Speedway, you're tuned in to the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network and the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship. Welcome back to the program. It is the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series race for the championship. This is race number 3 in the chase. We're here at Dover International Speedway. Wesley Outland, Michael Keaton high above the Munster Mile. Joining me here in Dover, Delaware, Don Long Pit Road, our all-star ETV pit crew of Joshua Harbinson, and of course also Matt Close. And we'll have a special word from Dalton, England on one of these drivers. I believe he has chose Guy Snyder the 4th, but they'll come to the cross sticks this time by halfway home, halfway to go. Officially, we jumped the gun earlier by 20 laps. I'm sorry for that, Michael Keaton, but hey, it's been a fast race.
It really has, and to show you how fast the guys out front are, folks, listen to this. Landon Huffman, Chad Cole, just put your pole. Oh no! Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell goes upside down on his roof. He collects also the 47 of the Navy Nuke Eric Arnold, and the caution flag will come out for the first time here at Dover. No caution, no caution. Cars stay on the pits. We still stay green after halfway. I can't believe that.
And it happened right in front of the race leader, Landon Huffman. Wow. Can you believe that, Wes?
I can't believe it, man. I honestly thought we were going to get the caution. I really thought Landon Huffman was going to be the bad end of the deal, the short end of the stick, whatever kind of scenario or analogy you want to use. Huffman now is going to get the lucky break of the race, because if there's anybody that just lucked up, if he wins this thing, great bananas. But also, he could have got tore up big time. Cars are on pit road. Let's go to find out what's going on with Adam Roberts, Justin Rose now. Glenn Campbell's on pit road. And, of course, the number 47 of Eric Arnold, they all had damage. We'll go first to Matt Close. And how bad are these cars tore up? No, wait a minute. Check that. We'll follow the wreck cars in a minute. The leaders, cat and mouse, come to pit road together. Let's go right now to Joshua Harbinson to cover the stops. As now, here comes Landon Huffman and Chad Close. That'll give the lead to R.J. Williams with now less than 77 to go. Let's go to cover the pit stops. And Harbinson, you're up first.
Yes, sir. It's a long drive from the entrance to pit road to their box, since they're near the front. And as we wait for them to get there, they've said they're going to be a 4-tire stop and fuel, and they're going to put the wrench in the right rear just to give them a little bit more around the corner. And we'll give it to Matt.
Yeah, Matt, close with 30 to you. I understand the 17 overshot the pit road. The officials are telling him to back his car up.
Yeah, he overshot it just a little bit, had to back it up a few inches, but he came down, got 4 tires in full gas. It looks like he's going to lose probably about half a lap's time, a quarter lap's time overall after this pit stop, just by overrunning it that couple of inches. Really dug himself a hole here, but he's been strong all night. Hopefully this run he can save his tires more and work his way back up through the field.
Absolutely. We'll cover those wrecks in just a moment. Or what should have been a caution turned out to be the wreck under the green flag. I've never seen that before, but it definitely happened. Dwayne Vincent, Guy Snyder the 4th. We talked about Guy Snyder. He is up to 2nd. Dalton England's got a special interview with him if we get the caution flag. More cars are coming to pit road. Missing pit road was Dwayne Vincent. He overshot the pit road entry. He now gives up the lead. Well, no, he'll keep the lead, but he was coming on the pit road, guys. He just made a valid mistake.
That's one
mistake. Now he'll definitely get to the bottom of the racetrack, and he will definitely now slow down to be able to make it onto pit road this time by.
Yeah, that's one of those things you got to watch out for. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the race, too, with Josh, that these guys trying to get slowed up. You got guys in front of you, you got guys behind you. You got to make sure that the hand's out the window, or the race, you talk to your crew chief and let the guy know behind you that, hey, I'm pitting this time, so get off of me, give me a little bit of breathing room. And we saw that Dwayne Vincent, the silver bullet, as you call him, Wes, couldn't quite make it down pit road, but he is coming down this time by, Josh.
He lost his momentum and then had to get another lap or two up to speed to try to kind of gain some advantage on the leaders as you just saw them fly by him. But meanwhile, this is going to give the lead to John Hanna Jr. in the 6th car. And now let's go to pit road. Joshua Harbinson, the silver bullet, is coming to you.
Yeah, and so we have to get the crew chief telling me he's going to take a 4-tire stop and fuel as well. And as he pulls into the... The crew's going on the right side to get some right ear Goodyear Eagles. They'll go ahead and hook him up with some Sunoco fuel. And other than that, not going to make any adjustments. He likes his car okay. He's just trying to get to the front.
And believe it or not, he is still in the lead according to the scoring loop, because Don Hanna Jr. just came down the pit road, Matt Close. Now he gives up the lead. The 13 on my scoring monitor still says he's out in front. Not anymore. Landon Huffman cycles back around the pit road. But let's cover the John Hanna stop with Matt Close.
Came down pit road at the perfect speed, and he came down, got right in his box, 4 tires, left and rights, filled it up with gas. He's a later pit stop here, so I'm assuming he's going to lose track position overall here. We got to think that extra time he's lost running such slower laps than the leaders. But going out there, I believe you guys said he led a lap and just trying to probably pick up that extra point.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we give you our... We told you to keep J.D. Webb in our thoughts and prayers after he is recovering from heart surgery over this past week. He's definitely going to be out of commission for a while, but I do know that he's into the broadcast tonight. Also, another great person in the motorsports world, the Dean of Motorsports, Mr. Chris Economaki. He passed away at the age of 91. Of course, on Friday. And yes, believe it or not, he liked computer simulation racing also. And he also loved the real racing stuff as well, according to Dave Argerbright, with a special interview with him tonight on And the Winner Is Motorsports show. Normally, we do a crank it up when the pace car drops onto pit road and they come to, through the gearboxes to full speed. But for Chris Economaki and, of course, J.D. Webb, we now do a ETV full speed sound off for those gentlemen. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, also that ETV full speed sound off is also in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yesterday is October the 1st, and yes, for so many people that have wished me happy birthday wishes, I greatly appreciate it. But I'm actually celebrating the first day of 31 that is in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month of the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Do your part to help find a cure for this dreadful disease for breast cancer. To be a part of the simulation race for the cure, we'll have details coming up soon on etv-eplay.net. And do your part also by going to susangkomen.org. 90 slaps into it. The race continues here at Dover. And Landon Huffman, same old story, same old song and dance, like Aerosmith says. Michael Keaton is out in front.
And just to give you some sort of idea about how bad that mishap was on pit road, where the DeWalt Ford machine of Chad Cole slipped through the box and had to reverse back up, guys, 2.2 seconds. So he is now very, 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 very far behind your race leader, Landon Huffman. Man, tough break for Chad Cole on pit road.
Definitely, Landon Huffman. Third. We're on lap number 97, 63 laps to go, and still no caution. What do you think happened? Do you think the RSR Full Throttle officials had a driver's meeting with these guys and said, look, you guys, you had a wreck fest last week. Now let's keep it clean tonight.
Man, you got to wonder, because Dover's not the easiest track to drive. This is a real fast racetrack. You got to keep momentum. You got to keep speed up. To get down into pit road, getting off pit road, I tell you what, the amount of traffic that the leaders have worked through so far tonight, 99 laps into this thing, make it 100 this time by. These guys done a fabulous job. Just another good rendition of an RSR race, if you ask me, Wes.
Absolutely, definitely. Joshua Harbison, what's your thoughts of things, buddy, as we now go into triple-digit numbers on the leaderboard?
Well, everybody seems to be driving a good race, and some of them are driving the car, but they're keeping it, keeping it clean. A lot of people hitting the walls, but I think it's been a pretty good race so far. A lot better than New Hampshire.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Maybe a caution or two we might need. I understand that if things keep going at this rate, our executive producer John Westling is going to have an imaginary crack come from the track, and we're going to have to go under caution for weeping issues with the racetrack. So we definitely can't have that. We can't have the ceiling might come apart. We can't have that happen.
No, I tell you, though, Wes, John does a fabulous job.
We might have Juan Pablo and Montoya make an appearance with the jet dryer.
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. We are on lap number 102, 58 laps to the finish of this deal. It's been flag to flag so far. We're having a blast here at Dover International Speedway. Clear skies, 78 degrees, little north wind blowing at 2 miles an hour around the Munster Mile here in Dover, Delaware. Meanwhile, the leader, Landon Huffman's got about 4 or 5 cars, lap machines in front of him. Now he'll fly by the number 12 car. And I'll tell you one thing I noticed. You're right. When these guys come to town, when they come down the pit road and they take on a new set of Goodyear rubber, get some new Sunoco fuel, make whatever chassis, track bar, wedge adjustments they do, they get faster. And they're doing it right now as Huffman leads them down the backstretch, picking off lap cars one by one into turn 3.
And as Huffman works his way through the field, like you mentioned, I want to bring up Dave Lanza here tonight. You know, he's not at the racetrack tonight. He had to work. He's sitting 5th in points, Wes. Man, I tell you, the guy's been real consistent since he's been with RSR. He's only done just a couple of races, but here's some of his stats: 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. And I believe he's only entered into about 15 of these events because of work situations, and he's worked himself up in the top 5. He's not here tonight, so I gotta say that this race pretty much goes to him for tonight, Wes.
Absolutely, no doubt about it, as they're down the back straightaway coming up under that bridge. And I'll tell you one thing we've talked about, too, here at Dover. You know, believe it or not, guys, that bridge, Michael Keaton, that can cause a little aerodynamic issues. We have seen times in the past where drivers go under that bridge or they're coming to the bridge, especially on a windy day. Today's not a windy day, but that bridge can sometimes be a hindrance for guys racing around. If they come to that bridge and the wind catches it the right way, it can turn the car around.
Absolutely. Turn 2 is one of the most is the most difficult turn here, getting out of it, because you want to carry so much speed through that corner to let the car settle and roll through the corner and then get back on the gas real hard. And you got to be careful, like you said, the aerodynamic situation with that crossover there. And just turn 2 coming out, you want to carry so much momentum coming out of the turn that you could easily snap the car. And I'm very surprised we haven't seen a lot of that tonight. We saw a little bit of brushing up with the wall coming off 2 and a little bit coming off 4. But, man, I'm telling you, these guys really working these Chevrolets, Fords, and Dodges, and Camrys out here tonight, son.
Hey, let's give a shout out to our Goodyear Stars and Stripes blimp view. Compliments of Goodyear. Goodyear, the official tire of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. And if you look here at Dover, you can see Landon Huffman now making a move on more lap cars, putting them down one by one. The top 6 are on the lead lap. Everybody else is 1 lap down or more, beginning with RC Rigdon. Of course, that blimp view is presented by Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR and the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series.
Just to give you an idea about where some of these chase contenders run at, number 1 in point standings is number 1 on the track. Number 2 in point standings, let's talk about him for a minute. Chad Cole, he's closed the gap from 2.1 to 1.8, Wes.
Yeah, definitely, no doubt about that. And Chad Cole is closing in ever so slightly. He'll now pass the retro Earnhardt colors of Randall Watkins in the 321st. He's already 4-5 laps down now to your let's see, yeah, he's 5 laps down to the leader. And Chad Cole gets by him nicely, out of the way, good hard racing. Got to pass one more lap machine, and then it's mano-a-mano between Huffman and Cole, cat and mouse 3 here at Dover, as we're on lap number 112 this time by.
You know, I want to mention, again, I was going to earlier, but then they almost had a wreck going down pit road with Landon Huffman. But just to give you an idea of what Landon Huffman and Chad Cole, and you got to give these other guys credit, like R.J. Williams, who's still the lead lap, Guy Snyder, Dwayne Vincent, John Abbott, although he's been threatened for that number 6 spot going a lap down. But they have put the guy that sat on the pole tonight, Wes, with a 22.905, nobody even close, really, respectively to him. John Hanna Jr. in the 6 machine started tonight from the pole and being shown a lap down here already. So just to give you an idea of what these guys have done, it is really amazing, Wes.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Dalton England, we'll bring you in here, buddy, since we couldn't get you with Guy Snyder the 4th during the halfway break like we anticipated. We thought it was going to be a caution. Well, maybe a caution, maybe not. Maybe not a demolition derby like we had last week at New Hampshire. But man, I'll tell you what, Landon Huffman in a world of his own, and don't count out your guy, your in-car reporter, Guy Snyder the 4th. He sits in 4th.
Yeah, guys, he got his cowboy boots on for today's race, and he's looking real good. You know, he's sitting 4th in the points, only 46 points out. There's only 46 positions. You never know. I mean, we still got 7 races left, so you never know. He could turn that around and maybe sneak in 2nd, 3rd position, maybe even 1st. Send it back up there to the booth.
Thank you so much. Again, our in-race reporter, Dalton England, trying to get word with Guy Snyder the 4th at halfway. Didn't happen. Cars are coming to pit road. They're lap machines. They're already out of the game. Would you have thought, Joshua Harbison, as we go back to our all-star pit crew, that only 6 cars would be on the lead lap?
Nah, I wouldn't have thought it'd only be 6 cars, but it's surprising how things shake out.
Matt Close, what's your thoughts, buddy? Are you in shock and awe like Joshua Harbison was?
I am amazed by the way that this race has gone tonight, and I think to the end it's going to stay green. We're just going to see either an amazing comeback by Chad Cole or a screw up by Landon Huffman. We're just have to see how this thing goes.
If things keep going the way they're going, guys, you're going to see a microphone fly out of the broadcast booth window. We're going to have a caution for debris because I caused it. Michael Keaton, Landon Huffman, and Chad Cole, they're only guys in this battle, 1 and 2. Wow, Dwayne Vincent just checked down in front of your leader, Huffman. I'm looking at the blimp view one more time, and every lap he is picking off lap cars more and more. That was Abbott's car that he was trying to get by.
And I was just about to mention John Abbott, who's sitting right there on that bubble. Very dangerous going a lap down here. He's in the number 5th spot. And guess what? Number 75 just put him a lap down.
And Chad Cole hangs right there with him as you look at the Goodyear Stars and Stripes blimp view high above Dover International Speedway. That's the best. Picking up lap cars is what I meant there, Michael Keaton. Here he comes after another one, the 32. And yeah, that's the lap machine of Rich Jett and a couple more cars. He'll run down our ETV and of R.J. Williams and, of course, Guy Snyder. And then it's mano a mano. Could we see 2 cars only be on the lead lap when this thing's done with 40 to go? Now make it 39 to go. 38 when they come back to the flag stand. Hey, in the words from the movie Angels in the Outfield, it could happen.
Hey, and just to give you an idea, race fans, this is what Chad Cole's done in the matter of 15 laps since the green flag cautions here tonight, or about 20 laps. Chad Cole has worked himself all the way from 2.2 seconds west down to under half a second on Landon Huffman.
He is closing in. He's ready to put the stops on the driver of the number 75. Going to victory lane for 3 in a row in the chase. Chad Cole not backing down. Less than half a second on the backstretch as we work lap 124.
Chad Cole has put that machine, that Ford DeWalt machine, on some sort of rail because he has come from a long way behind Huffman to get nearly as they go down to 1, working another lap traffic car, the Eric Arnold Navy Nuke machine.
The best camera view our crew can use right now would be on Landon Huffman, the leader, the rear chase cam. It's like a rear view mirror. You can see that car, the 17, the Hornet. Oh, he got in the wall at a turn 4. He got sideways, Cole did, but he quickly gets momentum, gathers it back in, and I don't know, Michael, that getting sideways might have helped him out a little bit more than it hurt him.
I'm telling you, Cole's got that car on the edge, Wes, and he's letting it all hang out, and he's showing potential with it, keeping it saved coming off that turn 2 there.
You look on the back of that review camera, John, Fast Track Magic Fingers Westling showing, and it says, "Hey, I'm coming to get you, buddy." He's closing in ever so surely. Chad Cole sideways again one more time. Huffman to the inside to pass the lap machine of the Navy Duke of Eric Arnold. Now he'll close him off. Chad Cole got shut down by Arnold. Arnold shut the door, and Cole's got, oh yeah, he got hung out to dry in that exchange. I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, just a couple of car lengths separate the number 1 position and the number 2 position of Chad Cole. Eric Arnold's in the mix as well. He's a couple of laps down. He's down low. He's up high. He's down low. What's the Navy Duke going to do here in 3?
He'll try one more time. The Navy Duke of Eric Arnold still holding his line. Remember, as I told you earlier about that move over flag, so many people in racing, Michael Keaton, take it out of context. I flag races myself before I even started announcing I was a flagman. The blue flag with the yellow stripe does not mean get out of the way. It means faster traffic's coming. Hold your line. Don't make any stupid moves. Arnold's got every right to hold off that position to try to stay at least on the lead lap, but it's coming down to the wire. He lets Chad Cole go, and Eric Arnold just got the wall coming into turn 1 also. That really hurt the momentum, and now Cole will get by him.
Yeah, it really was, and you could just kind of sense some sort of animosity between the two because Eric Arnold was really racing Cole really hard. And keep in mind, Eric's sitting back at 27th position, 17 laps down, and man, I'm telling you, he was working that number 17 D-Walt Ford very hard, but now he's got heavy extensive damage. You can see he's still kind of hitting the wall left and right. Eric Arnold's got some damage, and he's not able to control his car.
My, how the tables have turned. 2 cars could now be 3 and maybe 4. R.J. Williams, with all that battle that Cole was doing with Arnold and the lap machines of Campbell and Company, he has now reeled in the top 3. He's reeled in Huffman and Cole 1.1 seconds back as they go back into turn number 4.
Checking lap times too. R.J. Williams, fastest on the racetrack here at Doval West. 24.3 the last time by. He's just about 100ths of a second quicker than race leader Landon Huffman.
Look out, R.J. Williams is coming in the ATV car. He's reeling in Chad Cole for second. Joshua Harbison, what's the 21 crew saying on pit road as we come into the final stages of this race at Dover?
They're liking the car. He's finally got where he can handle it really, really well. He's finally found that rhythm he needs, and they're just going to push it. They told him hammer down.
Absolutely, and of course, Chad Cole, Matt Close, what's Chad Cole's race team saying right now? Is they're saying to the 21 to hold off Williams? I know that's what they're saying to him, but it's coming down to the late going.
They're just telling him to make sure that he hasn't worn out that right front like he did in that first run. That's where the Huffman boys really had the advantage over him. And so far, it seems like Chad Cole's really been able to take care of that car, but R.J. Williams a little bit better and more consistent out here.
Coming down to the wire, Michael Keaton cars, lap machines on pit road. Only 4 cars on the lead lap, and Huffman leads the next stretch. We'll come to 15 to go this time by at the big Munster Mile.
You got to be thinking, too, this is what I'm saying if I'm the crew chief to my driver. Hey, look, we got to pit at least one more time, and, you know, it's going to be interesting to see if they have to pit one last time, though, Wes, because some of these guys can conserve fuel so good, but stretching it may be a concern, so keep that in mind if this stays green.
Absolutely, positively, no problem for the machine of Huffman. Cole, Williams getting by Doug Roth in the STP Richard Petty colors back in the day, as they call that the, what do they call that, the flashback colors of the 43. Huffman, Cole, Williams, your top 3. It's coming down to these 2 guys. To the, make it 3 if Williams can run down Cole. I think Cole realizes R.J. Williams is the faster car. Bump and run, it can happen at Dover. We might see it. I think he's trying to play nice right now with Cole. Huffman says, no, I'm gone, guys. But not by much. It's still less than half a second and only 600ths of a second behind R.J. Williams for third as they go to turn 3.
You got to think that the spotter's telling RJ, look, guy, you're there. You're in third. You're within 4 or 5 car lengths of the first place guy, Lennon Huffman. You're within 1 car length of Chad Cole right in front of you. Just take it easy. Everybody should have to pit at least one time. It may be just a fuel-only strategy. We'll see in the latter part of this race as we come close to 30 laps to go here, Wes. I'm thinking, though, that these guys have to mathematically pit at least one more time.
And, of course, you saw the Goodyear Stars and Stripes blimp. Now let's give you a view of the Pennzoil copter cam. And Landon Huffman, high above a closer distance to the racetrack, is leading the way. Of course, Pennzoil is the official motor oil of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series. And, of course, the Chase, as well as this is the Pennzoil 160 here at Dover International Speedway. And they are a copter cam sponsor. And you look a little bit closer on the copter cam. Cole's coming.
No, R.J. Williams, Wes, you just mentioned it earlier ago, bump and run. He tried it, did not work, but, oh, buddy, a little left rear damage to that knee-walk machine now.
He was trying. I just noticed on my rearview mirror from the copter cam that he was coming, but definitely he tried to make it stick. I don't know if John Westling can get it back on the replay. Now, Landon Huffman starting to pass back marker cars, putting them a flat down. Kel drives back to 45. 63 of Wide Wolf Jr., Joseph Hayes, they're all going a lap down. And it's amazing, guys. The top 9, well, from 5th to 9th is 1 lap down. Everybody else is many, many more laps down or more.
It really is.
The bottom line is this. Landon Huffman has made an emphatic statement to get that Bob Earl Racing seat for 2012 in this chase.
He really has, Wes. He's doing a fabulous, fantastic job week in, week out, getting that car where it needs to be. 7 wins, 14 top 5s, and 20 top 10s for that machine, and 21 machine of R.J. Williams sitting 3rd. Wes, looking underneath, coming down the front stretch.
You know, that's what we talked about was that bump and run. And sometimes the bump and run, you can spin somebody out and you face the penalty. But R.J. Williams says, no way, Jose. I want 2nd and I'm on my way. He'll pass Chad Cole the fairway. Got that lap machine on Wanda Watkins to pass with on the outside. Cole comes back from the draft. Yes, you can draft. Just like we will at Talladega next week, you can draft at Dover. But, man, I'm telling you what, R.J. Williams, a power move, a fair move to take 2nd spot.
In the words of Dick Vitale, here we go, baby!
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Here we go, baby. Put the women and children to bed. As I told you, it's coming down to be a barn burner. Caution free for the first 144 laps, but could this long green flag run set in? Could temper set in? Could patience set in? It's coming down to the wire in race 3 of the chase, but Huffman still leads off turn number 3.
Looking at the lap time last time by the number 21 machine of R.J. Williams, 24.321 to race leaders, 20.442.
He's closing them in, reeling them in, down to the line, cross the stripe. Huffman, Williams, Cole, the top 3. I mean, bottom line, that's the only battle on the racetrack. Everybody else is out of the game.
And R.J. Williams up a 2 on the board. Wes, 3/10 faster than race leader.
He's coming. He's got him reeling in out of turn 4. He's on his deck lid for the lead as they go into turn number 1 with now 13 to go.
2 car separation between the front 2, coming off 2, now it's 1, less than 1, 21's all over the back door of Landon Huffman.
Landon Huff won race 1 at Chicagoland. He dominated race there. Then he won a wild caution field race at New Hampshire. Now it's coming down to the wire. Huffman under attack from the ETV Live car beat. R.J. Williams looking for the lead in turn 1 with now 12 to go. He's off at 2. He's to the inside looking for the lead.
He set him up, Wes. He set him up in 1 and 2, gave him a little bump, got him a little bit of off edge, and he looked like he was going to settle for the pass. Didn't quite pull the trigger just yet, but look, here he comes. He's setting him up again off 4.
Lap machines are all over the place. R.J. Williams is ready to make his move like a cobra strike, ready to strike on his prey. He'll pull to the inside. He'll keep it single file. He's got the lap machine to the outside to deal with Levere. Levere ducks out of the way. Here comes Williams to the inside. They'll try to go 3 wide for the lead in turn number 3.
Just a cat whisker separation between the two. A bump for the 21 off 4. He loses a little bit of ground, but hey, he gave him a nudge. I'm here, Huffman.
10 laps to go. 2 open hands from the flagman on the flag stand. 10 remaining. Williams, Huffman, cat and mouse. The chase continues. It's better than Tom and Jerry. It heats in turn 3.
Heating up with a lap car head. That's John Hanna Jr. He goes way up out of the way to let the 2 go by. They're separated by half a car length down the front stretch. 10 to go.
Lap machine said leaders have at it. This is a great battle. Williams and Huffman, mono e mono, like the quote from Talladega Nights. These guys have played cat and mouse all race in the chase. Now it's come down to a shootout amongst these 2 drivers. Don't worry about Cole. Don't worry about Snyder. They're way in the back. It's these 2 guys. And this is what's turned out to be a great race so far. Caution for at Dover. I wouldn't have it any other way. 9 to go. They're in turn number 2.
We get a little bit of update from Josh down on pit road. Josh, as the number 1 and number 2 spots are starting to heat up as they race here with 8 to go this time by. What's the latest on pit road?
Well, on pit road, both the 1 and 2, they're going all the way. They don't have to stop again. You're watching the battle all the way to the end.
Awesome news, Wes.
Oh, there you go. The word just came in. These guys, they said, boys, have at it. Oh, Chad Cole getting sideways in the back. He's stuck with lap cars in front of him. But meanwhile, Landon Huffman in the RTC Racing Design Chevrolet under attack from R.J. Williams in the ETV Live Chevrolet. These 2 drivers duke it out. 6 to go. They're in turn 1.
Landon Huffman still hanging on to the lead. 4 cars ahead, laps down. Traffic may be a factor here in the closing laps. This time by 6 to go, Wes. Things are starting to heat up with the 21 machine as it gives him a bump in 4.
This time by, they'll come to 6 to go. As again, your leader, Huffman, Williams, they continue the battle. Doug Roth, the lap machine, in the retro colors of Richard Petty, is in front of them. He'll pull out of the way to the outside lane. Boys, have at it. I love the respect these lap cars are giving him. Williams to the inside for the lead in turn 4. It's magical here at the Monster Mile.
He looked, but there wasn't just quite enough pavement to get the car on to West as they come down the front stretch, nearly a half a car length in separation into 1. Landon Huffman still race leader in 2. 21 machine of R.J. Williams down the backstretch.
An open hand shot from the flagman just a moment ago as well. 5 laps to go, 5 remaining. Lynn Steele. I really believe Williams is going to have to rough up Huffman, the bump and run, to try to get this victory. He passed Cole fairly, but did he use up the Goodyear rubber? Now he's going to go to the outside lane to try to make a move on Huffman for the lead in turn 2 with 4 to go.
The magical number 4 underneath coming out of 2. Williams may have the spot. 75's up high in 3.
Not backing down there, door to door in turn 3, door to door in turn 4. He'll get the jump. Williams goes to the lead with 3 to go at Dover as they go into turn 1. Can he pull the upset as they come to the line?
Huffman tried everything, but the crossover did not work. The 21 machine in the lead in 2. Coming down the backstretch, Cheyenne West in 375, separated by 4 car lengths.
The jinx might have been put on Huffman. He might have counted his chickens before they hatched. He vowed he'd win at Dover. R.J. Williams spoiling the plans, and he's even opening up the interval. Less than 2 laps to go. The leader's half a second over Huffman in 1.
R.J. Williams doing the unthinkable here tonight. So far, leading the race now with just a couple laps here to go, Wes. This time by the white flag.
1 more lap to go. R.J. Williams in the ETV Live radio number 21 made the bump and run. It was caution-free, but what a way to set it for the end. Even better than the real deal yesterday. They'll come down the back straightaway into turn number 3. No fuel strategy, no late race, caution, good racing, mono-e-mono. To the victor goes the spoils. It's still going to be Huffman leading the points, but Williams pulls the upset. He'll win at Dover. Williams goes 1. Huffman loses and finishes in 2nd. Finally, somebody pulls an upset on the 75.
What a trigger to be pulled here at Dover tonight. Wow, Wes, with just moments Moments and laps to go. R.J. Williams does the unthinkable. Green flag all the way through, completely 160 laps. Man, awesome race by the number 21 machine and the 75 car of Landon Huffman.
Williams goes 1, Landon Huffman 2, Chad Cole 3, Guy Snyder the 4th, and John Abbott the top 5. The bottom 5 of 10, Michael Keaton.
RC rigging in that lime green Chevrolet, picking up 6th place tonight's event. Steve Ritter 7th. Adam Roberts picking up a good satisfying 8th. John Hanna Jr., who started on the pole in tonight's fence, started and finished 9th. Wyatt Wolf Jr. finishing your top 10.
And R.J. Williams is lighting them up on the front straightaway. He's going crazy. He's doing the burnouts, the donuts. He's excited. He wins at Dover in a non-caution fiesta that turned out to be a soiree over Landon Huffman. We'll have the post-race show right after this. From Dover International Speedway, you're tuned in to the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network as R.J. Williams and the ETV Live Radio Chevrolet wins and finally puts a stop to Huffman's race wins in the chase. How sweet it is.
Up.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
Welcome back to Dover International Speedway. It's the ETV Live post-race show after race number 3 in the chase. I'm Wesley Outland, still after a wild finish. It was caution. It was a non-caution, no yellow flags, green flag run all the way, but somehow or another, Michael Keaton, I'm about to lose my voice. What a hell of a finish for the last 3 circuits.
It really was. Green flag from start to finish, flag to flag, awesome race. Just another good way of showing, hey, these guys at Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series knows exactly what they're doing. And here at Dover, not an easy track to get around. Turn 2, very treacherous here, trying to stay on the gas, getting off of it, getting into the turns. These guys did a really good job keeping this one green tonight, Wes.
And an awesome performance by, of course, everybody involved. But when it came down to the end, I called it the cat and mouse game better than Tom and Jerry cartoons. It came down to Landon Huffman and, of course, Chad Cole. And then another dark horse stuck his nose in the picture, R.J. Williams. And you never can count out the dark horse because they're always ready to throw that spade on the card table and pull the upset, and he done just that. We now go to our top 5 interviews. I believe right now we're going to have Joshua Harbinson talk to our 5th place finisher of John Abbott. I'm sorry, Michael Keaton. Excuse me. Michael Keaton, let's go to you for John Abbott's interview.
John, awesome race. 5th place. You got to think, man, coming into Dover, did you imagine finishing top 5 here?
Well, I mean, you probably wouldn't think that the way the season's gone, but I practiced more than usual today. Started a little earlier, and I think it paid off.
John, we saw in turn 2, just for a minute, we thought you were going to lose it. You got up into the Hershey's Milk and Milkshakes turn 2 there off of the Breezeway, the crosswalk, and but you were able to save the car, not taking not being the guy who's ridiculed as, hey, thanks, John, for throwing the first caution of the night's event. But, man, I'm telling you, you stuck that car where it needed to be at every single time on the track. You couldn't get much of a better finish than really what you finished, 5th place. So you got to be happy with that, sitting 6th in points, 47 behind race leader Landon Huffman, just tied up with Lanza. You'll pass him. He didn't race tonight. And Hayes also racing tonight but didn't quite get the finish he was looking for. But let's talk Guy Snyder. He's sitting 4th in points, and he's right in front of you. So what's the playoff picture here looking at going into next week's events?
Well, you just don't want to take yourself out of the chase. That's the main thing right now. I may have had a chance there with Guy, but I didn't get into the pits as well as I wanted. I was real conservative. Of course, I didn't think we'd go green all the way, so knowing what I know now, I'd have been a little more aggressive. But I think Guy might have been the only one I might could have had a shot at. The other guys were in a class of their own. But the main thing is just, I just don't want to take myself out of the chase, and maybe some of these guys up front will have some bad luck starting next week, and then I'll have a chance.
John, let's talk about RSR Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series just for a minute. Telling you what a great series this is, week in, week out. On every broadcast, I mention how good the racing is, how competitive it is. Talk about the amount of character that's behind it, the amount of work that's behind it, and how excited are you for looking at next year's events? Some new guys maybe coming into the mix, seeing what they've got to, flexing their muscles, and looking at some of the guys who's finishing the top 5 here, 3, who's moving on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, of course, I'm thrilled with the tonight's race. It just shows what I knew all along, that
You're thrilled when you're ready to throw a wrench on the track.
These guys could do could put on the show they put on tonight and drive like they did tonight. So I'm just real pleased with all the drivers. Looking to next year, we're excited. We've got a lot of ideas and ready to carry this Full Throttle series into next season. And yeah, some of the guys, I don't know if they'll be with us. They might not qualify to be in the series, but that's the way it is. It's a ladder series, and I think some of them are going to go on to bigger and better things in iRacing and in their real life career as well.
Hey,
Well-
John, I've got a question. Wesley Allen in the booth, and I tried to ask it to you, and I cut you off. I didn't mean to, but I know it was an exciting race down to the wire, but were there a couple of times you wanted to throw a caution or kind of have a screwdriver come out or throw a piece of the roll padding off of the car onto the track? Because, I mean, it kind of got to be a little, little kind of drawn out there, the first half of the race.
No, I mean, I was happy with where I was. Huffman's not going to be real happy with me. I ran him harder than I normally would because I thought that if he got around me pretty quick, he could get around Dwayne Vincent up ahead of me, and then Dwayne would be the lucky dog. So just playing a little strategy there, and I wanted to be the lucky dog, and I was there for the last part of the race if a caution had come out. So I was happy with where things were. Even after I went a lap down, so I was just glad to see the race go green, really, for the league's sake.
All right, John, we'll appreciate it for doing the interview with us tonight. 5th place again for Mr. John Abbott. He sits 6 in points. Look for him next week to try to regroup and get that #1 win of the season. John Abbott finishing 5th tonight. And now we're going to throw it down to Dalton England, sending by with Guy Snyder. And, hey, this is no coincidence. I know the casino, the Colonnade Casino's sitting right down there in the Dover Down slot machine in Pit Road. But Guy Snyder, get this, Guy Snyder the 4th. He finished 4th tonight, and he's 4th in points. Dalton England.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here with Guy Snyder finishing 4th place today. And I believe he's moving in at 3rd place. Joseph Hayes, I didn't see him anywhere near Guy, and I know Guy was 5 points 5 points behind Joseph. So, looking like Guy will move into 3rd position. But Guy, how was your car today?
Oh, the car was real good. Probably just got beat by track position. I'm a terrible qualifier, and I started 12th, and man, until I got, through some of them guys into the top 5, the leaders were gone.
Yeah, and, looking in Talladega next week, you think your team can pull off a win?
Oh, I'd say definitely. I don't want to call us a team to beat, but with Chad Cole and Glenn Campbell and Dave Lanza, man, we are pretty stout at the restrictor plate tracks, and I'm kind of happy to get back there. I've had some bad luck. I heard Mr. Abbott say that he hopes bad luck on the guys in front of him in points, but I don't think you can have much worse luck than I had the last 2 races. So this was hopefully enough to bounce me back.
Yeah, and I don't want to let you go, Guy, but would there be any sponsors you'd like to thank for today's race?
Yeah, I just gotta thank Snyder Fuels and Golf for being on the car. I just gotta also thank Team Manchild Racing Incorporated with Felix Abatis and all that, and just gotta thank the guys here that gave a green flag race and made it real enjoyable, I'm sure, to watch, and we didn't pace around like a parade all night.
And that is Guy Snyder. Guys, we're going to send it down there with Joshua, with Chad Cole finishing 3rd place today. Go ahead, Joshua.
Yeah, I'm here with Chad Cole. Chad, you ran a great race tonight. You're still 2nd in the points, finished 3rd tonight. Tell us how your race went.
Well, qualifying, I like to start. I wanted the pole really bad. I had to beat the guys in qualifying by a full 10th, but ended up starting 2nd. John Hanna kind of surprised me with that lap there, but I could have used that point. We get 1 point for qualifying on the pole. But it is a real fun race. It's been, seems like we've been struggling lately with green flag runs, just wreck fest, it seems, in the Full Throttle series. So this is real refreshing to get a nice long run, get some green flag stops in there, and I should have pitted a lap before landing. Unfortunately, I followed him in there, then proceeded to blow through my pit stall. I had to back it up, and that cost me a little bit of time. But then trying to track him down, I just burned up the right front and decided to settle for 3rd there.
Yeah, we saw you reeling back in. I was wondering, was it the contact with the wall or the tire issues that it stopped you from? They just kept you behind landing.
Yeah, I started because of that deficit I got because I slid through my pit. I was overdriving just a little bit and just abused that right front tire just a little bit too much, I guess, and just kind of started fading about 40 to go.
Okay, was there anybody you'd like to thank? I definitely thank your energy drink if you have one, because that was a long green flag run.
I don't have one, but I'd like to thank ETV for doing the Full Throttle Cup Series. It's always great to go back and watch the races the next day, and of course Edmonds at RSR for having to make the calls, being the eye in the sky. Luckily, didn't have to do that today. They got some flack last week, and Bob Earl Race Chassis, of course, for sponsoring the Full Throttle Cup Series.
Well, Chad, we appreciate your time. That's a third-place finisher. We're going to send it over to Michael Keaton, who is with second-place finisher Landon Huffman.
That's right, sitting here near victory lane with Landon Huffman. He gave R.J. Williams a little slap on the rear end. No, I'm just kidding. But R.J. Williams, Landon Huffman putting on a show with Mr. R.J. Williams, the Dark Knight that Wesley called him earlier. Landon, take us through the last couple of laps with R.J. Williams on the back door, closing in. Take us through them, man.
First off, congrats to RJ. That was probably one of the most intense races that I've ever ran on the sim, especially with RJ. He hung around there to the end, but I thought I was going to be, pretty much the shoe-in to win it there. I had about a 2.5-second lead on, or 2-second lead on Cole, and about a 2.5-second lead on RJ, and about 35 to go. I got hung up behind Abbott. Didn't get by him like I wanted to, and then I don't know how much time I lost there. And then looked like Vincent got in the wall, and I had to check way up for him, and I lost all the time that I had on them, and that allowed them to get right to my back bumper. And then I was driving the wheels off of it, trying to stay in front of them, and unfortunately wore out that right front tire. That's also important. And RJ just sat back there and watched me and Cole wear our stuff out, and then about 10 to go, there he was in the rearview mirror, and I did all I could to hold him off, but I gave it all I could, and he just saved his tires so much there, and he had so much more turn through the center, and he could get up off the corner a lot better than I could.
As once quoted by the famous Cal Yarbrough once said, I was going to run him down, but the wheels just fell off. Landon Huffman coming close to quoting the exact same words. The wheels just came off the car, couldn't quite keep it in front of Williams, and like you mentioned, though, R.J. Williams coming back from about 2 seconds or 3 seconds, and Cole coming from about 2.5 seconds. We talked about that. Cole's little situation in the pits got him behind, and we all thought, here we go, Landon Huffman going to win at Dover. But hey, not to be denied by the race winner R.J. Williams, who's standing by with Wesley Allen. Wes?
Thank you so much, and of course our interview is presented by Gatorade. Gatorade is the official sports beverage of the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, and he's being doused with Gatorade. Got to wipe off his eyes, give him that Geico rag, and clean off his face, and soak it all in on the ETV Live number 21 Radio Chevrolet. R.J. Williams. R.J., the Dark Horse, that's what I called you. You become the Dark Knight. You pulled an upset over Landon Huffman and put that car in victory lane at the Munster Mile. Talk about it.
Well, I really was looking forward to this race tonight. I thought I'd probably finish about 4th or 3rd, where I was running most of the day. But there at the end, I knew Chad was running his stuff up. He was pulling away from me there for a little bit, and I had a nice cushion on Guy behind me. So I just cruised around for a little bit, not pushing the envelope anything, just working through the traffic. And then Landon had his problems up there with getting around Abbott, and then of course his problem there with Dwayne. But since I got around Chad, it was full throttle. I was going right up there to him, and I finally made it up there. Really surprised I got around him. He was really, he's a tough one to get around, but since I got that run up off the turn, I was going to drive it down into one like no other, and I cleared him, and off I went.
What is your thoughts of the whole passing, bump and run? If you hit the guy, you get penalized. We've seen things like that happen at Dover last weekend. A lot cleaner race. Well, what are you saying, Wesley? A much cleaner race. Not a caution flag fell whatsoever. The flagman had carpal tunnel after last Monday night. This week, I think he became a ghost up there on the starter stand. Bottom line, if you try to rough somebody up, if you try to move them and they take it the wrong way, you get penalized. Me and Michael in the booth were talking about the bump and run numerous times, and you initiating it, and then you backed off. Was that one reason why you kind of hesitated in kind of putting the bumper to Chad Cole or to even Landon Huffman to put anybody in the wall?
Well, I had gotten into both of them. It wasn't intentional. I just had all kinds of speed on them coming up off. I just, let them know I was there, of course, and I'm sure they knew I was there. But I don't want to wreck them for the win, and especially Chad and Landon. I mean, those are the two drivers that drive me with the most respect out of the whole series. I can't say that much about anyone else, but they're the ones that really give me the room, give and take, and drive me clean, but drive me hard, and they're a blast to run with. And I really didn't want to end up wrecking them and get myself in a longest line penalty for doing so, and B, I want to show them that respect. I mean, if I got into them, it wasn't intentional. It's just cause I just had a better run on them. But real happy that I got the ETV live radio car into victory lane finally after the past two races in the chase. I was kind of not looking forward to tonight, like I said, but really happy that I pulled off the win.
Absolutely, and I know that this was only a contract deal for the chase, but I understand that talks are already coming in that we might give you a one-year sponsorship for next year as well. So definitely great things going for the ETV Live Radio Race Team Chevrolet of R.J. Williams. R.J., why don't you thank your sponsors, buddy, before we let you go. By the way, if you want to mention it, you can. If you don't, you don't. What was the comment that Landon Huffman said to you when you were starting to run down him in the race?
Well, he said I knew I was there, but he's going to make me work for it. He's like, don't choke, RJ, don't choke, because typically I drive a little over my head there, when I'm putting the pressure on, but he told me not to choke, and and then he, pass me if you can, kind of thing,
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and as soon as I got to him, and I had one run on them going down the back straight, but there's a lap car up top, and so I just backed out, and we went around the lap car, and I knew I was going to get them. I just had to really work on them coming up off, and I got them.
Kind of reminds me of the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup last year at Homestead between Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart, where Tony said, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." He ran him down and got the championship. R.J. Williams does the same thing to Landon Huffman and wins race number 3 at the Chase at Dover. And we'll go back up to the booth and wrap things up here in just a moment. Michael Keaton, we now turn our page now to probably one of the most exciting races we're looking forward to in the schedule, Talladega Super Speedway and the Good Sam Roadside Assistance 100.
I don't think it could get any better than what we saw tonight here at Dover. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. We're going to Talladega next week, Wesley. Look for 3 wide, and I'm telling you, there's a chase to be won here. Look for 4 wide action between Huffman, Cole, Hayes, Snyder, Lenza, Abbott, Arnold, Horton, Williams, Schilling, Albertson, Roth.
And as always, be looking out for the big one, because it sometimes happens. Or maybe you might not see the big one. It might go caution flag like we saw at Dover today. Final word on pit road from our all-star pit crew team. First off, let's throw it to our in-race reporter of the afternoon, Dalton England. Dalton, what was your thoughts of the race and final thoughts on how Guy Snyder IV did as we get ready for Dega next week?
Yes, guys, it was a very good race today, Wesley's like, "Hey, Dalton, you think about going down there and throwing a beer bottle down on the track to get me a caution?" I said, "You're going to have to pay me to do that, because I ain't doing that." And we got back, and we were watching the race, and you guys did a very good job up there in the booth. And Guy Snyder, he put his cowboy boots on for the race today, and he ended up getting a 4th place finish. I believe he's moving up into 3rd place in the points. An awesome job to R.J. Williams on the win. An awesome job to Landon Huffman. That was a very good job there in the last few laps.
Absolutely, definitely, no doubt. And Dalton, thank you for being a part of the broadcast. And, of course, Matt Close has already hightailed it on home, taking down the wires and the camera equipment and the audio and everything else that goes along with it to prepare to go to make the trip down 75 going to Talladega Super Speedway. And now we will talk to, I-20 is the highway I-20 to Talladega. Joshua Harbinson, your thoughts as we get ready to go to Talladega Super Speedway next week in race number 4 of the Chase.
I'm looking forward to it after the race tonight. It shows that no caution tonight was an outstanding race. I'm just looking forward to see what they can do at Talladega. See if the teams can work together, and if not, we'll see what happens.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to in a moment. But Michael Keaton, what's your final thoughts on tonight?
Man, another good race. Like I said, Dover International Speedway, not the easiest track to get around, known as the Monster Mile, and it proved to be that tonight. No cautions, green flag. Green to green, love it, and man, R.J. Williams, Landon Huffman, awesome show tonight as well. The other guys, see you at Talladega next week, where we hope to see possibly another dark horse or a dark night, Wes.
Absolutely. Of course, when it all started 3 weeks ago, Chicagoland, Landon Huffman dominated that event. Last week at New Hampshire, Caution Field, a demolition derby, if you must say, in a circle. Landon Huffman held on to win that race. Tonight, it looked like it was all Landon Huffman again in another wild turn of events of a race that went caution-free until the dark night of R.J. Williams and the ETV Live Radio Chevrolet made the pass on Chad Cole for second to take the bridesmaid spot and then pull the upset and pass Landon Huffman for the win. Huffman still leads the battle, but R.J. Williams, the Dark Knight, wins the war here at Dover International Speedway as we now close this chapter of racing history and get ready next Monday night for Talladega. For RSR Full Throttle Cup Series broadcast team on ETV Live Radio Network, for Wesley Outland, also Michael Keaton, Dalton England, Joshua Harbinson, Matt Close. Our executive producer also is Dakota Ehrman, filling in for our J.D. Webb. Our thoughts and prayers are with J.D. Webb. And for our producer, the man running the boards, Fast Track Magic Fingers, John Wessling. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Another chapter closed. Talladega sets up round number 4 in the Bob Earl Racing RSR Full Throttle Cup Series.
Thank you.